Hey guys, welcome back to Zmari Talks. I am your host, Zmari, and it is such an honor to be here with you. I don't know why I get so excited to say that intro, but like every podcast, I get so excited because, listen, I have been going through every single season of this podcast. It's not even funny. Every step, every journey, every episode, that week I have experiential proof to show the things that I share with you guys. My experiences have been really just been blowing my mind. And, I live in a state right now where I feel as though every single episode I'm learning something new. I'm sharing something from what I have learned. And y'all, it's a journey. It's a journey. It's tough. It's a walk. There are highs and lows of this journey. But I am so privileged and so honored to be able to share this journey with you guys. Because as I said, we want to help you transition from the life that you have to the one that you desire. We want to be bold and unapologetic as we grow, as we glow, and as we be brilliant. And in that, there are things that we're going to have to confront. Now, we have been really targeting some heavy topics these past couple of weeks. We started with imposter syndrome and the identity crisis that we experience when we think as though we don't deserve the genuine success that we have actually achieved in our life. And then last week we spoke about the courage to love and to be loved, and where our identity for love must be rooted in, and which is rooted in God and His love for us and the sacrifice that He has made by sending His Son to die on the cross for us, so that we will know with a surety that we are loved. And we don't need validation from any external person, situation, or circumstance to tell us that we are loved. This week is a ticklish week. Like this week, we're going to be tackling unforgiveness and identity in forgiveness. Now, guys, I'm going to share a bit of my life with you all. And these are things that I have not shared before. These are things that I don't usually share out loud like this. So this is the first time that I'm going to be sharing some of these experiences with you. But the thing about that is that as I share these experiences, I want to be very delicate in my approach with these things, because there are other lives that can be impacted by the things that I share. So I want to be very cautious and very delicate as I approach these things. And I pray that you guys give that same caution and that delicacy as you receive this. And the only reason why I'm sharing some of the things that I am sharing is because I feel as though we all go through things like this that we don't necessarily voice. And I have heard some people voice their own experiences that are similar to mine, but more on a negative connotation and not from a biblical foundation. So I want to share my perspective when it comes to forgiveness and harboring unforgiveness at times, and why it's not necessarily safe for us to do those things, that we really need to find healthy outlets on really letting these things out of our life. So let's go back into my history. I grew up in a household that had physical, emotional, and mental abuse. I was not physically abused myself, but I did observe physical abuse in my household. I was definitely mentally and emotionally abused for majority of my childhood. And I did not even know that because it was coming from a parent. The thing about that is that you learn to accept or tolerate certain behaviors because of this experience. So I call it growing up in an edgy household. An edgy household is just that you're almost walking on eggshells all the time. And it's an edgy environment in the sense of the way people speak to you is very demeaning and condescending. And I have now in my life felt as though it's not something that I appreciate that much. And this is why I always talk about kindness and gentleness and really treating people with a heart of love and those kind of things, because it is something that I have grown to really appreciate even more now as I deal with people, and not wanting to project things that I experienced onto people. But the thing about it is that we live in a life, in a world where everybody does not share that sentiment. Everybody doesn't share that perspective. And I definitely run into people who are edgy and may treat me in a particular way, may be condescending or demeaning, or maybe just have really wicked and nasty intentions based on their own personal trauma or insecurity or jealousy or envy that is going on in their own walk. And for a long time, I battled with my identity and knowing who I was, just because I felt as though I deserved that treatment. From childhood to adulthood, this can't be a coincidence that this is happening all my life, or that's how I thought that, I deserved it. And it was really experiencing God in a real and true way. And it's not to say that I did not know God all my life. I did. But to experience him in a true way where he allowed me to feel what I went through. And I realized at one point where God confronted me about my anger, because I grew up very angry, very easily frustrated, and very irritable about the littlest things. I grew up a perfectionist, and we talked about that when we were talking about imposter syndrome, and just not wanting to have any issues with anybody. So I was very much people pleasing, because I did not want any edgy interactions, and I was just avoiding confrontation and conflict so much that I did not want to experience those things so much that I compromised myself. And because of those experiences, God confronted me about my anger. And I said, yeah, cool. And I said, yeah, I'm angry. I needed to deal with this anger for me. And I said that to God, and he said, you're angry with me. And I was like, what? What are you talking about? He's like, you're angry with me. And I said, nah. Like, I know you're a good God. I know that you're loving. I know that you're kind and generous and these things. So how can I be angry with you? It's definitely not you. But the thing about God is that God will not say something to you that he doesn't know is true. He says truth. God is truth. So he said, you're angry with me because you hold me responsible for the experiences that you've had in your life. And what he meant by that, God literally flashed back my life and the experiences that I went through from childhood, and things that significantly left a mark on my brain, or on my emotions and on my soul. When he showed me the things, I realized that I really was upset with God. I was upset with God. And the reason why I was upset is because I knew he was a good God. I knew he is a good God. I knew that he's loving, he's kind, generous, and all of these different things. And I felt as though, if you are a good God, then why did you allow me to experience all these hurtful things? Why did you let me go through all of these difficult seasons? And what? From childhood, I didn't even plan that. I didn't even walk into the things like, God, I've been trying to live for you. And you allowed me to go through these crazy, crazy things, these hurts, these disappointments. So many people failed me. People treated me like crap and trash. How could you let me go through these things? You are a good God. And God literally allowed me to vent, and I literally felt like if I was banging on his chest, like, how could you do this? And he said to me, I know, I understand, and it's okay. Because I said, I'm mad at you. I'm mad at you, God. I'm so mad. And he said, I know, I understand, and it's okay. Because in the back of my mind, I knew that it was not his fault. I knew that we live in a fallen world where there's a lot of evil, so I knew it was not his fault. And I know that he was with me at every point of the way. I knew that in every experience, even when I did not see him, that he was there, that he actually was there, even though it did not feel like that. And he is a good God. But I said, I'm mad. God, I'm so mad. And the best two words that I've heard that I always tell people today is, it's okay. It's okay to be angry. It's okay to be frustrated. It's okay to be irritated and upset and disappointed and hurt. It's okay to feel how you feel. And God understands. He understands why you feel how you feel. And for the first time in my life, I experienced God in this way, where I realized that he could hold space for me. He could hold space for my emotions, that he was not perturbed by it, that he was not insulted by it, but that he could hold space and say, I know why you feel how you feel. I understand why you feel how you feel. And it's okay to feel how you feel. Even though it's wrong, your perspective is wrong, it's okay to feel how you feel. And I could hold space for you to feel what you feel. And I felt God's embrace and his loving arms over me. And I felt what I had been missing in my childhood, because I did not grow up with my father in the home physically, and I grew up in a very female or dominated home. And I think I mentioned that earlier. But the thing about that is that embrace that God gave me that night, for the first time I felt what manhood felt like. True manhood, the gentleness, but the strength of manhood. And I felt safe. I felt safe being in God's arms. I felt safe for the first time where I could say, God loves me. That night was evidence and proof of how much he did and how much he cared. He didn't judge me. He didn't correct me. He just said, it's okay. And I tell people this story at times, and I told them, it took me a week to get over it. It took me a week. I said, I still vex with you. I take in my hug. I still vex with you. And I don't want to forgive you. I don't want to let it go right now. I literally said that. I'm not going to let it go right now. I want to be mad. I want to be upset. And he said, it's okay. And it took me a week to get over those feelings. And I didn't even do anything to get over those feelings, to be honest. I didn't intentionally do anything. I felt like if probably on the 4th or 5th day, God talked to me about something, and I was very intrigued about what he was talking to me about. And I was like, yeah, so, and this and that. And it completely went away, because I just sat back to talk to him. As in, yeah, no, that's true. Just like a friend, just being right there and just completely taking my mind off of it. And not just taking my mind off of it, in that moment when I just started to talk to him, I literally said, okay, I'm going to let it go now. In my head, in my mind, in my spirit, I just said, I'm going to let it go now. And I just continued talking to him. And that grace and that time that God spent with me in that season was so significant in my life. It was so significant that it literally shifted how I love and how I live my life of love. And the amount of grace that I give to people now, even when they are going through their seasons of questioning themselves, questioning God, being hurt and upset and angry, I can hold space for them now and say, it's okay. Because God told me that it was okay when it was my turn. When it was my time, He told me that it was okay. So now I can hold space for others and say, it's okay. And I felt it was significant to say this story because there's a lot of resentment and a lot of unforgiveness that we carry through trauma in our body and our soul. Our soul is damaged because of the experiences that we've had in life, that we don't realize that we're lashing out or we're reacting to things just because of that trauma. And the resemblance of those triggers that resembled the things that we would have gone through, we don't even sometimes get time to heal. Because it's just trigger after trigger, after hurt, after disappointment, after disappointment. And we don't get time to heal sometimes. But I want to hold space for you and say it's okay to be hurt, it's okay to feel how you feel. But also push you and encourage you to embrace forgiveness. Embrace forgiveness. And we're going to transition into that now as we discuss this topic of forgiveness and the ministry of reconciliation. Because I really truly feel as though God has given me a revelation about the ministry of reconciliation and how we're supposed to live as people. So, let's go.